I am not at home. I'm in a parking lot. So here in a moment, I will say my disclaimer, as there are other entities and or human vessels about. First off, if you haven't been to this channel, I use expletives liberally. If that offends you, you should probably click off now. I speak of things, state things, and discuss things that are not generally common topics of discussion. If this is your first time to my channel, you might want to go to the very first video, which is a video link, and on that video link I have made many posts. If you want to decide whether you're going to stay for this recording, you might take a look at a couple of the posts. You should know within a paragraph or two whether you're going to stay. And just briefly, I do speak on things because of the topics. These are things that you can't unhear and you cannot unknow. So you should be prepared ahead of time to decide whether you're going to stay. On to the disclaimer. I do not consent to any forced harm, magic, and or intended harm and effects and or rape of any part of my being on any level, dimension, timeline, quantum, cellular, DNA, and or genetic level of my being, including my statements and or comments, or forced magic on any of my comments and or statements, as I have revoked my consent for all forced connections via compromised, malevolent humans, possessed humans, and or undisclosed recording from humans for malevolent intent, and or undisclosed malevolent intent, realities, magic, and or psychic cords, harm, and or obstructions at the onset, as well as the forced obstructions, interference, and or regressions of universal laws, now rendering anything forced by malevolence void and devoid of all frequency, vibration, and life force. Moving forward. One of the things I'm going to be talking about today is the frequency fence. Possession. I'm sorry, I will rephrase. Attempted possession. Mind rape. And that is by force. Forced mind rape against the total revocation of my consent. All of what is being forced is against the revocation of my consent on all levels, dimensions, and timelines of my being. Now, I have a couple of other recordings discussing the frequency fence. What I am realizing, finding out and realizing, is that the frequency fence is being used for many things. And one of those things is the collection and or harvesting of frequencies, energies, vibrations, things that make up you, things that make up a being, a true benevolent being. There are many things that they try to harvest and collect. And from the things that are being forced on me, they do attempt to try and possess, including via cons, lies, and deceptions, through and or via forced mind rape, and forced emotional body hacking. Again, all against the revocation of my consent. Another thing I'd like to touch on is that I am consistently, persistently moving all violations of universal laws being forced on me directly to universal laws, as they are using the artificial frequency fence to bypass and or obstruct universal laws, as well as true universal law manifested corrections, energies, and frequencies from being manifested here on earth. So, because of that, I spend much of my time manually moving violations of universal laws directly to universal laws. The issue that is occurring is that they are also using technology to obstruct and regress anything, or manifested universal law corrections. If manifested universal law corrections, frequencies, and energies manage to make it through the fence, they are using technologies, some form of technology, to regress. Now, it may be that it's technology in and of itself, and or they are using some form of a method, whether it's timing or whether it's forcing a large magnitude of high vibrations and frequencies through the fence to offset to somehow obstruct the universal law, true universal law corrections, energies, and frequencies. If they do manage to get through, there are pieces that I am not fully sure on as to how the specific how they're doing this. So I can move their violations to universal laws manually, directly. Then they immediately get hit with the return of what they sent out. But it only takes a few minutes before they are again doing the same violation. So I know that universal laws works initially. So I know that they are using clones of themselves as surrogates to take the karmic hit. They are also using technology, as I said. This is an inverted time loop matrix. And it seems like there are, because this has been manufactured and forced on this planet for such a long time, that it could be that there are layers to things, that maybe it's not as cut and dry. And in addition to that, again, they're using clones, they're using technology to obstruct and regress. But the other part of this is they still initially get hit with the return of their violation. So then it brings into question the universe itself. Universal laws is obviously part of the universe. Universal laws, to my understanding, is a force. Like a frequency, vibration, light, sound, energy, and resonance force that responds to those things. Now, I've always thought that because the universe is so massive, that there is some form of intelligence and or awareness and or consciousness and or energy that runs and operates the universe. Just as there are sentient planetary beings, sentient star beings, that there is a sentience within, I'll say this in a shorter manner, that there is a sentience in planets and stars, and other celestial bodies. So if that is true, then I would think the universe itself is also its own being. So as universal laws are part of the universe, universal laws exist to somewhat govern the balance in the universe. Is the moderator, the corrector, I guess you could say judiciary sector of the universe, or part of the universe, that keeps things in balance. And that also returns those things that need to be returned so beings can learn, as well as also reciprocating frequencies, vibrations, light, sounds, energies, and resonances of true benevolent beings who are trying to manifest and evolve and assist other beings in this universe and hold love and operate from a place of love, that the universe would also reciprocate those as I said, those frequencies, vibrations, light, sounds, energies, and resonances to those beings. Now, as I'm trying to make a point, I hope that if there is anyone listening, I'm trying to make a point. I'm getting there. That as I move, as they, I'll say it this way, as they experience the return of their violations, even if it's brief, they are, that universal laws does work, that universal laws is doing what universal laws is supposed to do. However, because what they are doing to forcibly regress and obstruct, and initially they do experience the return of their violation, that the universe itself should be assisting in the enforcement of universal laws. And the fact that there's another issue here, in that over many millennia, there have been, at least from what is known about it, there have been many planets, many star systems, and, or maybe not star systems, but many planets and races that have been forcibly annihilated by this parasitic species, entire planets destroyed. So the universe itself cannot say that it is just so massive that it just doesn't know what's going on in this quadrant of the universe to explain away the lack of assistance, to explain away the lack of assisted enforcement of universal laws. And so I have to question, what is going on there? What is that about? They get the return of their violation, the return of their violation immediately. It just doesn't seem to last very long before the malevolence is again coming at me, doing the same violation. And there is also the question of, is this truly a free will universe? And I'm sorry, one moment. I had another thought there that I'll have to try and come back to that, because I can't think of it right at the moment. So there, again, there's also the question, is this a free will universe? Or is it not a free will universe? There's also the question of, I have always known this universe to be an organic one. But I still think the question needs to be asked, whether it's organic or inorganic. There's, especially over the last few years, there's been the question, or it's been said that this is a simulation, which means inorganic, considering there is, at least in this quadrant of the universe, a great deal of AI. So because they initially get their violation back, then And in addition to that, with absolutely all, they're in violation of every universal law that exists. So how is it that the universe itself is not assisting in the full enforcement of universal laws on this planet? While the malevolence here, number one, has installed an artificial frequency fence around the planet to forcibly and intentionally obstruct and regress universal laws, as well as true universal law manifested corrections, energies, and frequencies from being manifested on this planet. So how is it that the universe itself is allowing that? Is allowing, number one, parasitic entities to run amok with frequency weaponry, hacking into beings, and torturing, raping, and some of them murdering them, as well as using the artificial frequency fence in combination with technologies and clones to continue obstructing and regressing universal laws and universal law corrections. So how is it that the universe itself is allowing that, when universal laws is the balancer? It keeps the balance in the universe. It keeps the ratio, it's supposed to keep the ratio of malevolence lower or than the ratio of benevolence, and is also there to keep the malevolence from, it's to keep the universe from being overrun with malevolence. So because they spend much of their time trying to forcibly attempt to possess me, against the full revocation of my consent, and they continue to force the technology and continue to forcibly mind rape me, along with continuing to constantly attempt to force false emotions and attempt to hack into my emotional body against the full revocation of my consent. And there have been attempted murders in where I have revoked my consent, my full consent for any attempted murders, to being murdered, to being harmed, to being mind raped. I've revoked my consent for all attempted possession. And anything to do with forced possession, I've revoked my consent for. So again, how is it that the universe itself, seeing as how I'm able to manually move their violation directly to universal laws, and they initially get hit with the return of their violation of universal laws, because they get real, sometimes you hear them scream, sometimes because of the level of, I guess, rage or anger that they come back at me with, that they do initially get hit with the return of their violation. Seeing as how I'm able to move their their violations directly to universal laws, and I'm at a spiritual stage, I'm at a certain stage in my spiritual involvement that I am able to move their violations to universal laws, as well as being able to disconnect the AI system and disconnect demons and disconnect parasites from my being. And I have done this many, 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 many times. Many times. And yet, they still continue to force all of that. So as I'm in a place or at a certain stage in my spiritual involvement where I can disconnect the AI system and demons and parasites and malevolence from my being, at that point, it should be that the universe itself is assisting me with the removal and the permanent removal of these entities, of the AI system, of the parasites, of the malevolence. Universal laws, or the universe itself, should be assisting me and helping to protect me and helping to enforce universal laws. So how is it that that is not occurring at the current juncture? So I have to ask the question, what is going on with the universe itself? What is going on there? Why isn't the universe itself assisting in the enforcement of universal laws? Why is the universe itself allowing an artificial frequency fence to remain around a planet that is intentionally there to forcibly, intentionally obstruct and regress universal laws, as well as true universal law manifested corrections, energies, and frequencies from reaching the planet? How is it that the universe itself is not doing that? Is not assisting? Is not doing anything to help protect and help remove the malevolence and put the malevolence in its rightful place, which is entropy? Because there should not be parasites in manifested creation in the same space with alive, vibrating beings, for the simple fact that they are parasites. That should not be occurring. And when a being comes to a point in their spiritual evolution that they are able to work with universal laws and able to disconnect malevolence and able to disconnect the AI system and is able to protect myself, and I'm able to do there are certain things that I am able to do that I have learned over time, in addition to knowing how to protect myself. And yet the universe itself is seemingly assisting malevolence, is seemingly assisting parasites, demons, the insane, the malevolent, insane entities that are in human vessels. So I have to ask the question, what is going on with the universe itself? And why does it seem like it's assisting malevolence? And then come in the other questions. Is this a free will universe? Is this universe organic and or inorganic? Is this universe sane? Or is this universe insane? Is this universe benevolent or malevolent? Is this universe parasitic in its nature, in its operation? And we have just been led to believe otherwise. I have always believed this universe to be at least neutral. I have also believed this universe to be a free will universe. I also have believed that this universe backs benevolent beings who are observing universal laws and trying to do the best that they can. So because of what has occurred and because of the lack of assistance and the seemingly assistance in helping malevolence, I obviously now question on a continual basis, whether this universe is actually insane, and whether this universe, and if this universe is parasitic. And that also obviously leads to, if I were to extrapolate, leads to other questions about stars, about planets, about other celestial bodies, and whether or not those sentient beings are sane or insane, and whether or not they're parasitic. And whether or not they are being coerced, threatened, extorted in some fashion to go along with the universe itself? Or are they all in on it? Stars, planets, other dimensions, other realities. So because of what has occurred and the lack of assistance, and those other things that I've mentioned, I am persistently trying to find out whether this universe is a failed one. I have lately been coming to the conclusion that this is a failed universe, that the universe itself is parasitic and assisting malevolence, and that the malevolence are actually just unhealed parasitic fragments or unhealed fragments of the universe itself that are directed and or guided to move about the universe, searching out benevolent life force energy in which to try and with using the AI system and artificial frequency fences that are installed around planets to seek out benevolent life force energy in which to try and parasitize and cannibalize and harvest benevolent life force energy against the revocation of consent of the benevolent beings it's being forced on. And that it seems like many lies are being propagated. In order to con and or deceive beings into believing that the universe is benevolent and or at least neutral in its operations, and that supposedly it's a free will universe, which take a look around. I think there are a lot of beings here in where very horrific, vile, malevolent things are being forced on them against the revocation of their consent. And especially with the intentional obstruction and regression of universal laws via technology and malevolent parasitic entities seems to be in direct contradiction to what I personally have come to believe about this universe. And so I continue to ask the questions. And because what's being forced on me has escalated to attempted possession and the forced mind rape and the forced emotional body hacking and the attempted murders, I'm just at a place where I'm really needing to find a very definitive answer. And trying to also figure out, number one, how to get off of this planet, because the planet itself seems parasitic. And then in addition to that, getting out of this universe. I did not sign up for a parasitic universe. I did not sign up to be forcibly obstructed from leaving a parasitic, malevolent universe. A universe that uses its unhealed fragments to run around parasitizing and cannibalizing off of benevolent life force energy. That's in total contradiction of any kind of a love-based system, a free will system. It means that because I am one who is trying to operate and express out of a love-based emotion, energies, frequencies, vibrations, resonances, light, then I am the one. And if the universe itself is truly parasitic and malevolent and is assisting malevolence, to torture, rape, and murder benevolent beings, then I am the one who's in the wrong place. I am needing, if that's truly the case, and the universe itself is truly parasitic and insane,
and psychotic and is trying to murder me against the full revocation of my consent, then again, like I said, I am the one that's on the wrong planet, in the wrong universe, and I was unaware of those things about the universe, if those are true, and I didn't sign up for any of that. That's not what I signed up for. Not at all. I didn't sign up for being forcibly obstructed from freely leaving a parasitic, demonic, insane, malevolent universe. Yeah. Definitely not what I signed up for. And I'm doing my best currently to figure out what it is I'm going to do about it. Personally, I think everybody on this planet should be demanding to the universe itself to be assisting in the enforcement of universal laws on this planet, to be demanding to the universe itself to deactivate and remove the artificial frequency fence so that universal laws can freely be fully enforced here permanently. And I think that beings should be screaming to get off this planet. Absolutely fucking screaming to get off of this parasitic fucking planet. This parasite, and it's a parasitic farm in where humans are farmed. That in and of itself says quite a bit about the universe. It sure does. Like, I really tried to give the universe the benefit of the doubt, but it's really no longer going in that direction. So, yeah, I think true benevolent beings need to really take stock of some things and really take a good hard look at the universe and really start asking hard, logical, critical questions of the universe itself. I mean, asking their questions directly to the universe and seeing what kind of answers you get. I think that's real important at this juncture for true benevolent beings to be doing that. So they can then try and prepare or figure out what it is that they're going to do or how they're going to move forward. I don't know, maybe it's where if celestial bodies are sentient, I've always believed planets and stars and celestial bodies are most have sentient life, like a sentient consciousness and or being within them that inhabits them. So if that's the case, and it's also true of the universe itself, that maybe, if humans can go awry, if humans and other sentient life can I guess, if other beings, other sentient life can not be of sound mind, if they can, I guess, be something other than sane, then maybe that goes for stars and planets and celestial bodies, as well as the universe itself. So maybe the universe itself is a failed universe. And some of us are just finding out about that now. Maybe it's like that. So many believe that this universe is benevolent and or at least neutral. And that there are many who also believe that this is a free will universe and that the universe has their back. And it seems like that is not the case. It also brings into question other things. If those conclusions are correct, and it's doing this to benevolent beings on a planet, then it also brings into question larger creator gods. If planets and stars are either in on it and or being coerced or forced to be complicit or go along with the universe or in on it, then what about creator gods who create who create creations? And like true benevolent beings, like what I'm getting at is true benevolent beings. I'm speaking of our Father. Where is the creator God of this creation? Where is he? So the thing is if the universe itself is using its unhealed fragments in the AI system to systematically search out benevolent life force energy to then parasitize and cannibalize, then that would also mean that this universe has been doing that to creator gods. As well, because I have been unable to reach the true benevolent creator of this creation. And nor do I think the true benevolent creator of this creation would stand for any of this, would stand by and do nothing about what is being forced on benevolent beings, would stand by and watch a parasitic infection forcibly obstruct and regress universal laws. And forcibly hack into beings with frequency weaponry. And forcibly torture, rape, and murder benevolent beings in order to parasitize and cannibalize. And then in addition to that is forcibly obstructing true universal law manifested corrections, energies, and frequencies. So, I mean, at that point, knowing that already that this is a parasitic farm, it's not really a school, is it? It's not really a school. If my conclusions are correct, then you're in a parasitic universe. And you're being used as food. So just some questions, yeah, just some questions I've been contemplating and trying to get to the truth of. And it's just, yeah, my conclusions and realizations just don't seem to be becoming more positive. And more attractive. They sure aren't, at least at this current time. So I just think true benevolent beings really need to think about some of these things and figure out what it is that they're going to do. So I think I'll go ahead and try and get this video wrapped up. And I guess if I have anything else to add, I can always do another video. It would be interesting to know if anyone is even seeing my channel and or my videos come up in the search results under the topics that I'm posting for. Because again, they fuck with my channel all the time, and they fuck with the sub count, the view count, and the comment section. And the view count of the videos has remained the same for many days. So I have no idea if my recordings are even in the search results, if they're even being seen. Okay, well, do your best to take care of yourselves and those you love. And until next time.